right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I've got for you guys today, the latest update from Keone Pearson. This is probably one of the freakiest physique updates I think I've ever seen from anybody. I think this is going to go down as one of those physique updates that people remember and talk about for years. And I think when we talk about guys breaking the internet with an update, this to me is one of those. This is one of those updates that we're still a couple days out from the show. This is one of those updates where it really feels like, okay, everybody else can just go home. Keone's winning 212. And no disrespect to the other competitors, but I mean this genuinely. Like, look at Keone in this update. Who's beating him in 212? Who has this type of muscle, this type of round, full 3D look that's in this type of shape, that has Keone's type of structure? I honestly don't think there's a chance that anybody in 212 beats this year. This is the biggest, best Keone I think we've ever seen. And I've said it several times this week now. I'm going to say it again. I want to see Keone do the Open Olympia this year. I'm telling you, man, I think literally even at this size, Keone beats most of the Open guys right now like this. I just don't get it, man. He looks insane. I can't even imagine what he would end up looking like without a weight restriction. I mean, he needs to go to Open now. I think this is like this. I feel like this update is like a defining moment for a lot of people looking at this version of Keone, and everybody. I think everybody can agree. This guy in the Open class, he 1,000% can win the Olympia. And I'm seeing a lot more people say this now, and it makes me happy to see that a lot more people are saying this, that Keone is they're either saying he is the best or one of the best bodybuilders on the planet right now. And this is one of those updates that I think really proves that. I mean, it's crazy. It's just crazy. And to be honest, this is kind of why I haven't been talking a whole lot about 212 or making, 212 Olympia prediction videos, because I kind of just feel like, what's the point? Keone's going to win. I mean, it's Keone's show. I don't think there's any other way to look at it. And I feel like that's not the case in classic physique and open bodybuilding. I feel like those divisions, it's kind of anybody's game. I think they're impossible to predict. I think anybody could win either one of those categories. It could go any which way. 212, I just genuinely, I can't see it going any other way unless something crazy happens and Keone gets injured between now, like something weird. I just can't see Keone losing. Nobody looks like this. There's Open guys that don't look like this. I mean, this is crazy. I'll say it like this. Keone is the only modern guy right now that reminds me of prime Phil Heath. I remember at Phil's very peak at his prime when he was competing. I remember watching the Olympia every year, and Phil was so good that when he was at his prime peak, it was like every year we would see the updates and people would be like, okay, Phil's winning. He was like, we just knew he was going to keep winning because he was that good. I don't really feel like we've had anybody like that since Phil until maybe this update from Keone. It's like you're almost certain he's going to win because nobody else looks anything like this. And I wonder if this Keone is so good, this version of Keone, that maybe we see what we saw with Phil Heath at the Olympia, where they sent Phil back in line and only Phil, and just kept comparing everybody else because Phil walked out and they just knew he won and put him back in line. I wonder if we see something like that with Keone. I mean, there's 212 guys that are good, but I just don't think anybody is close to this in 212. I think Keone he's in a league of his own. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about this version of Keone. I think this is the internet breaker here. I think even freakier than the Nick Walker updates. I think this is the update going into the Olympia that is going to be the most talked about. This is some freaky stuff. Now, next up in the news, kind of the opposite of how I feel about the Keone story. The latest physique update from Rubiel Mosquera, Neckzilla, at 5 days out. Man, I think I'm correct in my prediction that he's going to be outside of the top 10. And I think I'm also correct in thinking there's a good chance that he's not in shape. When we saw that first update from him, when he first arrived in Vegas at that Cult Fitness gym, and he was posing with a tank top on, he'd like lift up his shorts a little bit, showed his legs. You could tell his face looked puffy. You weren't seeing a lot of detail. And I'm looking at these pictures here. I think we're going to see Neckzilla drop the ball at the Olympia. This doesn't look like the same Neckzilla that was winning those two shows. Look at that side leg in these pictures. There's like almost no feathering or separation. It's just vascularity and mass. It's just a big mass of veins. There's like no detail in that side leg. I mean, I think you guys are seeing what I'm seeing. And when he's in shape, he does, to his credit, he does have detail in his side leg when he's in shape. I'm not seeing that at all here. And I think even conditioning aside, I think these pictures are also a good example of what I say when I say he's put together weird. His proportions are really weird. Look at the upper body compared to the lower body in these particular shots. And keep in mind, he's pretty good from the side. It just doesn't match. Like the legs just absolutely do not match the upper body at all. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I've got a feeling that we're going to see a repeat of the same from Rubiel. And I think this Olympia appearance is going to be a bit underwhelming. I think this is going to be a disappointing one. And I'm definitely sticking with my prediction. I think he's going to be outside of the top 10. Like I said in my prediction video, I think a good example is when you think back of all the hype of Michael Krizo, the year that Krizo made his Olympia debut in 2022. That's kind of what it feels like with the internet hype around Rubiel. Even Michael Krizo at that 2022 Olympia was only able to place 12th. And he was in, I think, better shape than Rubiel's going to be in. Now, on the other hand here, the latest physique update from Goodvito, Vitaly Ugonikov. Very impressed by this update. In contrast to Neckzilla, you see a lot of detail in Goodvito's physique. Size, freaky body parts, but detail. And he's put together a lot better. This is the physique update, or at least this is the type of physique update that to me says top 10 material. This is a dangerous looking bodybuilder making his open debut this year. And I had Goodvito in 8th place in my Olympia predictions. I think I'm going to stick with that, but I could really see him placing higher. I think if he's really on, which it looks like he's going to be, I could see him even higher than that. And he looks like he's on track for that. I'm very impressed with how Goodvito is looking, and I think he could you could maybe make an argument for him creeping up closer to that top 6, man. Now, next up in the news, the latest physique update from Regan Grimes at just a few days out from the show. Regan is one of the guys that I didn't have in my top 10, but that I think could prove me wrong and end up in the top 10. That's the hard thing about these prediction videos. Not everybody can be in the top 10, and there's so many guys that are good, and you can make an argument for them being in there. But I think Regan is at the top of my list of guys that could be in the top 10 that maybe I would change and add him to my predictions. He looks great in these updates. He is under good lighting, so I should put that caveat there. But like I've said, my really only hesitation with predicting a high placing for Regan is just that he's been so inconsistent in the past, and that he's looked so good on Instagram in the past, then just didn't really deliver when it came to the big shows. Maybe this is the year that he finally does, because these are really impressive updates. He's in great condition. I saw kind of a comparison post earlier, comparing him to Urs, and like aesthetically, he looks like just a more muscular version of Urs. They look like they're in comparable shape with this comparable structure, and Regan just looks like a bigger Urs. And so I think that's the argument you could make for Regan cracking the top 10, is I had Urs in my 10th place spot in my prediction video. And I think that could be a toss-up with Regan as well, or even higher than that, because Regan was 9th at his last Olympia. And the final story that I've got for you guys today, the latest physique updates from Brett Wilkin at just days out from the show. Again, Brett is another guy that I didn't have in my top 10 prediction video, but looks really impressive in these updates. He's another guy that wouldn't surprise me if he was able to move up, kick somebody out of that top 10, and find himself in there. And honestly, this is really why prediction videos are just kind of a silly thing to do before there's even a prejudging. They're really just based on nothing. It's just pulling something out of your ass and hoping it sticks. Because we haven't even seen these guys on stage. We're basing it on nothing. And that's why it always surprises me when people get upset that they're not in these prediction videos or in somebody's top 10 or somebody's pick to win or somebody's top 6. If it's a prediction video, before we've seen you guys on stage together, before we've seen a prejudging, it literally just means nothing. Don't take it personal. It's really just a setup for an interesting discussion point. But I think Brett looks great here, and I would not be surprised if he finds himself in the top 10. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. That's going to wrap it up for the video today, guys. I hope you did, in fact, enjoy it. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, click that bell notification icon if you have not already. And as always, I love you guys, appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at Nick Strength Power. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.